Buzz Sawyer has come to the ring with Dark Journey with a dog collar around his neck. Hey, she knows this man is better than anyone. General Skandar Akbar on the outside of the ring has taken the one-man gang out. Of course, that big chain will have something to do with that, along with the Mad Dog, but I think this was just a little more than Akbar bargained for.
Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 250 pounds from Florida, Dark Journey presents Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Universal Wrestling Federation. We're here in Monroe, Louisiana for another exciting hour of UWF action. You've just seen some footage of last week's encounter between the Mad Dog and the gang. Hello again, everyone. I'm Jim Ross. Thank you very much for being with us here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. Should be a great hour. Gentleman Chris Adams has challenged Angel Muhammad. You'll see that match in the hour. We'll also have a recap of the Devastation Incorporated Fabulous Freebird situation. You'll also see the UWF Television Championship on the line. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert will defend the title right here in this hour against Sam Houston. And if Gilbert is unable to wrestle due to his alleged injury, then he will forfeit the title in this hour. It should be a great hour. Terry Taylor is with us along with Steve Dr. Death Williams. We'll have a new UWF Top 10. We'll be telling you about some great events coming your way. Some exciting UWF action on its way to some of the great cities throughout the United States. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's go down to the ring and Bruce Pritchard.
This event, ladies and gentlemen, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the ring, weighing in at 230 pounds, from Pensacola, Florida, Mike Boyette.
Now, I did some checking, ladies and gentlemen, on Mike Boyette's record. I mentioned last week that I was going to check into the veterans record, and since he has been here in the UWF, he's perfect. He's 0-15. So if you're record keepers, or you might want to jot that one down. Mike Boyette with an 0-15 record going against the one and only Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer in the tremendously popular Dark Journey, the Mad Dog. Quite a pet.
And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 250 pounds, from Florida, Dark Journey presents the Mad Dog, Buzz Sawyer!
Well, I'll tell you, this still is a shocking revelation in the professional wrestling business. Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, with a face only a mother could love, and the very beautiful Dark Journey. Sawyer sucking him. Look at Mike Boyette, that far away look in his eye. I don't know which one of these guys has the more oars in the water. Porch lights on, but nobody is at the house. With Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, I guess that's obviously applicable for Mike Boyette. And Sawyer throwing Boyette right into the ropes, and there's a chop. Sawyer now biting away. And Mike Boyette, the Mad Dog, living up to his name, and his reputation, of course, precedes him here. He's a phenomenal athlete and a very, very volatile individual. That forearm and a headbutt, rocking Mike Boyette. Sawyer raking away. Dark Journey has somehow reached an agreement. I don't know how she really communicates with this man, but be that as it may, it has happened. Sawyer with that power slam. He caught Mike Boyette in midair and planted him in the center of the ring. Dark Journey just may have one of the strongest forces of 1987, and you're looking at him. Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer with another victory here in the UWF, and we'll be back. It'll be Terry Taylor and Gary Young after this timeout.
Pete Rose just got tough.
Because now I use Tegrin medicated shampoo. Head and Shoulders, not tough enough. Tegrin's 4 times tough on all 4 major causes of flaking and itching. Get 4 times tough with Tegrin.
Ice cream is scrumptious.
Ice cream?
Oh, and it crunches.
Welcome back to the Universal Wrestling Federation, everyone. Jim Ross back with you. Thanks very much for staying with us. Here last week on the program, in a match involving Chavo Guerrero, Gary Young came to the ring with what many of us thought was the $39,000 check that he ripped off from Chavo Guerrero. An altercation ensued, and let's go back 7 days and see exactly what happened involving Chavo Guerrero and his former friend, Gary Young, who doesn't have what we would consider one of the most sparkling one-loss records in wrestling. Elevation, Chavo elevating Mike Boyette, and as a matter of fact, I wonder what his record, one-loss record would be. I can't remember Mike in that victory column here lately. I'm going to check on that. Maybe we can look into that, and look who's coming to ringside. A man with 39,000 reasons why he shouldn't have done what he did. Gary Young. I wonder if that's that $39,000 check that he ripped off from Chavo Guerrero. Chavo sees him there. You can bet on it. Flying mare takeover. You're gonna get a boil here, Gary Young. Chavo Guerrero will boil in a hurry, and Mike Boyette seizing the moment as any veteran would. Chavo Guerrero taking right back over on Boyette, though. Boyette starting to leapfrog Chavo, it looked like. Chavo's got him up, and Chavo Guerrero with that suplex. And that's how you plan him. Chavo Guerrero and Gary Young. Gary Young is being chased around the ring by Chavo Guerrero. Mike Boyette has lost another one, and Gary Young trying to evade Chavo Guerrero. Young's got Chavo's money. Chavo's trying to get that envelope, and he has got it. Chavo Guerrero has he got his check back? That's what I'm wondering. There's nothing in it. Young, a little too smart. He did not bring the check to the ring. There's some paydays coming, a $39,000 payday on the horizon, and some dues to be paid in this one.
10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the red corner, weighing in at 247 pounds, from Houston, Texas, Gary Young.
Taylor making his way to the ring. What a tremendous crowd here in Monroe, Louisiana.
And his opponent, weighing in at 232 pounds, from Vero Beach, Florida, Terry Taylor.
A tremendous reception for one of the finest athletes in professional wrestling today. Terry Taylor. Taylor reversing Gary Young, and I noticed Young came to the ring before he went on camera, just waving to the crowd, big smile on his face like nothing has ever happened. Like the act that he perpetrated on Chavo Guerrero never took place. But he's $39,000 richer as a result of his backstabbing. And there will be some heavy dues to be paid in that regard once he gets in the ring with one Chavo Guerrero. And there could be some dues paid right here. As Terry Taylor with a great reversal right into an overhand wrist lock. We'll be telling the fans along the local network of some great action coming your way in just a few moments. This Sunday afternoon in Lubbock, Texas, this Monday night in Chavo Guerrero's hometown of El Paso, Texas. And this Tuesday night in Albuquerque, the Tingley Coliseum. Awesome pro wrestling events, UWF style. You're going to see great athletes like Terry Taylor and Gary Young. We'll have a look at this week's UWF Top 10. I'll have Chavo Guerrero here with me later in the hour, along with Ken Mantell. Gary Young going for the elbow. Terry Taylor moving out of the way very quickly. And an arm drag takedown, and Young, who certainly doesn't have a smile of arrogance on his face at this point in time. Ken Mantell will be talking to us about some of the matches that he has paired, and a lot of questions to ask Ken later in the hour. Nice clothesline by the Houston, Texas native, Gary Young. And I will say that great wrestling city is not very proud of their native son at this point in time. Terry Taylor, one of the top athletes in professional wrestling. And Gary Young, going for the knee, and Taylor moves out of the way. Taylor moves out of the... Now Taylor going for the figure four. He's full of surprises here lately. But wait a minute, there's Gilbert and his people. Sting and Steiner. I thought Eddie Gilbert was there. He is at Terry. They came to get Terry Taylor once again. Terry Taylor getting out of the ring. He's no fool. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Taylor is a lucky man. He dodged the bullet, but Chris Adams recently wasn't quite so lucky. This is a bizarre situation you're about to see. Let's go to the feature.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a lot of you know, gentleman Chris Adams has been through an ordeal in the last 7 to 8 months that he hopes a lot of you don't ever have to go through. And Chris is here to basically fill us in on a little bit what you went through and hopefully deliver a message so the folks out there won't have to.
Right, Bruce. You know, I was very honored when the UWF mentioned that I could do a public announcement. And I want to be doing this all over the country, you know, not just in wrestling. And the reason being is I'd like to convey my mistakes over to you people so that you won't be making the same mistake that I made. Take my mistake as a lesson. Now, alcohol is just as much a drug as any other drug. It's just as much a drug as cocaine or pot. And I know that everybody enjoys a drink. Everybody likes that last drink. But you see, that's where the problem begins. That's where...
What the hell?
What?
Hey, get it! Hey, somebody get it! Hey, somebody get in here!
Behold the beer belly. 50 million Americans need a shortcut to get from...
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here with one of the premier tag teams in the entire wrestling community today. It is Terry Taylor, gentleman Chris Adams, and gentlemen, it is a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Bruce, and it's a pleasure to be here. You know something, you people, I told you some time ago that I would try and convey messages to you from the mistakes I've learned in life. And one of the major mistakes that I've learned is to never, never give in. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard things seem at the time. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And you know what? That was exactly the same way that I felt when I was in the ring right here in Tulsa against Iceman King Parsons and that lowlife Sting. Now, you know, they said, well, your tag team partner isn't here. You've got to just give them the belts. No way. No way would I ever give you the belt. So you see, I thought, well, I have faith in my mate and my tag team partner, Terry Taylor. And I knew that you would come through in time. And Terry, I have to officially thank you for saving me.
You don't have to officially thank me for anything. I have to thank a guy like this who went out there and wrestled 2 guys at once. He jumped at the chance. Now, if it would have been me, I might have had to think about it a little bit. Just kidding. I would have been there. Don't worry. There's a lot of things going on in the Universal Wrestling Federation, Power Pro Wrestling. Chris and I feel like we're the tag team of the 80s. We're moving forward. Sometimes you have a few setbacks, but it's like he said, the hard times don't last, and the hard people do. But we know we got our work cut out for us. We have a lot of things going. We're still tagging together, sometimes maybe wrestling single. We're looking forward to tag titles, single titles. It doesn't matter. 1980 is going to be an exciting year for the Universal Wrestling Federation, Power Pro Wrestling. We're going places, and we just feel like Chris and I are going to be a big, big part of that. Right, brother?
Yeah, right. We look after each other's back. If Terry's in trouble, I'm right there. If I'm in trouble, Terry's right there. And that's why I think that we make such a good tag team.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. In just a few moments, you're going to see Steve Dr. Death Williams take on the Super Ninja. But I'm here with Chavo Guerrero, and Chavo, there's so many things going on, and it stems about attitude and the way people perceive things and the way they think. We're talking Iceman. Your situation with Gary Young is bizarre.
Well, you know, attitude, talking about attitude, just happens that
they say that money is the root of all evil, and when you get down to a business, any professional sport, you can see it, you go from nothing to making a lot of money, and there's a lot of pressure. You just can't make money and then forget about it. Once you make a certain amount of money, then your lifestyle goes up, your spending goes up, and you have to keep making that money. And to keep making that money, you have to stay on top. And to stay on top, there's a lot of pressure. So evidently, money changes people. Like you said, look at Iceman, look at Gary Young.
39,000 reasons why you turn here, friend. I know personally, you and Gary Young have traveled many, many miles together.
Well,
You've worked out many, many times. I know this. I don't understand this man.
Like we say in Mexico, there's an amigo and there's an amistad. A friendship and an acquaintance. Gary Young was a friend, man. He came into my house. He changed. You train so hard to expect the unexpected, from people like Akbar, from people like the Freebirds, but to expect the unexpected from your friends, man. You got to be looking out for all these other people and to look out for your friends, and then he turns around and does something like that. Well, it comes out to attitude, but his attitude has changed. Well, my attitude has changed too. And fortunately, he hasn't changed for money, but it has changed because of Gary Young, what he did to me.
There's some dues to be paid.
Yes, there is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Chavo for being with us. He'll be with us during this match. Now let's go up to Bruce Pritchard.
This event, ladies and gentlemen, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the ring, weighing in at 245 pounds from the Far East, the Super Ninja.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a look at this week's UWF Top 10. At number 10, Terry Taylor. Number 9, gentleman Chris Adams. Number 8, Iceman Parsons. Number 7, Sam Houston. Number 6, Chavo Guerrero. Number 5, Michael P.S. Hayes. Number 4, Savannah Jack. The number 3 contender is Ted DiBiase. A tie for the number 2 position. Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Steve Dr. Death Williams. The number 1 contender is the television champion, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. And the number 1 man in the Universal Wrestling Federation, the 500-pound one-man gang. We await the arrival of one of the most awesome forces in the history of professional wrestling, the one and only Steve Dr. Death Williams.
I'll tell you, man, when he comes out, before he comes out, you can feel the electricity.
270 pounds from Norman, Oklahoma, Steve Dr. Death Williams.
As I was saying, even in the dressing room, you feel that momentum changing, you feel the electricity. When Doc's coming out, the walls tremble.
Dr. Death with that clothesline. He just got back from Japan, Chavo. He's not real high on our Oriental neighbors, I can tell you that.
No, he's not. I'd like to say something right now about the Universal Wrestling Federation training camp. When I was coming up, there was no such thing. There is one now, and I've been there, and believe me, taken from Chavo Guerrero, it is the best around, and I recommend it very highly. Look at Dr. Death now.
Oh! Ooh! Dr. Death has made a house call. That is one Class A stampede.
He don't fool around.
Chavo, thank you for being with us. Best of luck in your upcoming matches with Gary Young. I hope that you get your 39 grand back.
Thank you very much. I do too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more exciting UWF action after this brief timeout. Welcome back, everyone, to the Universal Wrestling Federation. Each and every week, we try to bring you some exciting wrestling programs, and I think last week that Ken Mantell and the UWF really outdid themselves because we had a tremendous hour. We're going to recap some of the major events that happened in last week's program, and we're going to start off with a very controversial situation involving the valets. Sunshine made a very strong statement, and strong actions followed.
Minute, I didn't ask, I demanded. Oh, there seems to be a problem here, but it doesn't matter because, Mr. Pritchard, there seems to be a problem with the valets around here. Seems like they think they can compete with number 1. Now, everybody here knows that I was the first, and when they all fall, I'll be the last. There's one of them out there who doesn't have the common sense of a pet rock, and another one who doesn't have the brains that God gave lettuce. And I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to compete with number 1, you better learn the tricks of the trade. It takes more than a pretty face on a pretty body to do my job. Oh my God.
You know what, Sunshine? You're exactly right.
I'm right?
Yeah, you know that Dark Journey and that Nicola, they are such hogs.
I can't. The last thing I expected you to say when you came out here was to agree. They are hogs!
I mean, do they copy what we wear? I mean, God.
Wait. Nicola thinks that she's Susan Ann Todd.
We don't know what Dark Journey is. I mean, oh, God.
She copied you?
Yeah.
The other one copies me. They'll never learn. I can't believe it.
Look at this.
Well, wait a minute. Bruce Pritchard has left the ring, and that was a good move. Oh, good gosh. Sunshine just took Missy's Gucci bag, whatever's in there, and she has KO'd Nicola. Missy is leaving the premises. She didn't want any physical confrontation, but look at this, and she's rubbing Nicola's face on that, the canvas. I mean, that will take hide, hair, and feathers, as it were. The skin, you can almost... That's one of the most severe burns that you can have on your anatomy. That canvas, here comes Dark Journey. But Sunshine has done her damage with Nicola. And Missy's purse, and she's gonna need some medical attention. Well, there will be definitely some action taken there. I know Nicola wants to settle this situation her way. We'll keep you updated on that. Also, a very disgusting thing happened, in my opinion. That's how I'm going to describe it, because Savannah Jack, handcuffed, triple teamed by Hot Stuff International, handcuffed to the top rope, and then the lashing started. Let's go back to last week. As Young hammers away on Savannah Jack here on the Universal Wrestling Federation. And Young, who knows that Savannah Jack, one of the top contenders for the UWF Heavyweight Championship, a former television champion. For the feather in his cap it would be if Young could score what has to be considered an upset victory here on the UWF. Also, this program reminder right here next week, gentleman Chris Adams will go against the giant Angel Muhammad. Young goes to the corner. Savannah Jack moves out of the way. And Eddie Gilbert will defend the television title here next week, or he will forfeit that title. It's that simple. Terry Taylor on the card next week. Dr. S.D. Williams will make a house call. And the Mad Dog will be back with us. Look at the strength of Savannah Jack. A superbly conditioned athlete, Savannah Jack. And here comes Iceman King Parsons sneaking to the ring. And Parsons, oh, he met with a super kick. The Iceman was killed. Iceman Parsons. But here comes Gilbert. And Steiner, Rick Steiner is back. And here comes Sting. And Savannah Jack, they're triple teaming. Savannah Jack. They're triple teaming Savannah Jack. And they've got some handcuffs. They've got a pair of handcuffs. Steiner and Sting holding Savannah Jack. This is a hideous situation. Steiner hammering away on Savannah Jack. And they have handcuffed Savannah Jack to the top rope. And the Iceman has got that belt. He's lashing. Iceman Parsons. They're stretching Savannah Jack out. Listen to those lashes. He's lashing all over his body. Leather is flying. Here comes Chavo Guerrero, Terry Taylor, Sam Houston, Chris Adams. The ring is filling up, but the damage has been done to Savannah Jack. Hot Stuff International and the Iceman have struck again. What a humiliating and a painful situation here. Being lashed by his own. That's... Savannah Jack, winner by disqualification, but that's really a very little consequence right here. Savannah Jack is looking forward to his encounter with the Iceman. There is a lot of dues to be repaid in this situation. That lashing totally uncalled for, not only very painful, but very humiliating for Savannah Jack. I'll tell you this, Iceman, he owes you. And ladies and gentlemen, another score that's being settled as we speak. The big issue, perhaps the biggest in wrestling now, Devastation Incorporated and the Freebirds. Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Buddy Jack Roberts came to the ring last week. The results weren't very good, especially for Buddy Jack. Let's see what happened.
Williams press slamming 300 plus pounds, and the tag was made. Williams and Cox both elevating the Angel. How could someone be so inappropriately named the Angel? Mohammed. Lateral press. Didn't think he was going to get the big strong man that way. He's so massive and so strong and extremely agile for a man as large as he is. The Angel. Angel Mohammed. A well-placed kick to the face of Steve Cox. Dr. Death gets his licks in, and now there's the tag. That was a good tag. Sound strategy by Akbar's Devastation team. Great match here in the Universal Wrestling Federation. A lot of great action coming your way. Tonight in Fort Worth, this Monday night in St. Louis, Tuesday night. That was a tag. Dr. Death will be in Kansas City Tuesday night. Dr. Death, Steve Williams, nailing them. They're moving them, he's hitting them. And coming to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Bam Bam Gordy and the one-man gang, and it is Break It Down right here in Monroe. The Viking and Cox in the ring, the rebel flag waving. Irwin and Roberts, fist and fire. Here comes Akbar. Akbar with a shot on Roberts. They've got Buddy Roberts in a predicament there, ain't? Irwin with that whip. It's Williams and the Angel outside. Wow. Irwin trying to take the hide off Buddy Roberts with that whip. Now what's Irwin doing? There's fights all over the building. Roberts has been nailed, and Irwin has just buried that whip. Irwin has just buried that whip into the throat of Buddy Jack Roberts. Wild Bill Irwin has just buried it, and Gang and Gordy have pounded and pounded. Williams and the Angel. Cox is hurt. He's in the ring. Roberts was hit in the throat with that handle. There's Gordy. He's hammering the Angel. But I don't think Gordy knows how bad Buddy Roberts has been hurt here. The crowd is standing. This place is definitely pandemonium. Dr. Death in the ring with Steve Cox. But Buddy Jack Roberts. Gordy is concerned, as he should be. Roberts looks to be hemorrhaging. Buddy Roberts is bleeding. Roberts is bleeding from the... They need to get some help here. Dr. Death on the outside. Oh my gosh, Roberts is hemorrhaging. Buddy Roberts, they need... Ladies... Gordy and the doctor eyeballing each other, but Buddy Roberts is hurt. He's seriously hurt.
What's wrong?
The greatest contribution to the human race, and it rides like a rock.
What you need are Monroe Gasmatic shocks.
Shock?
Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Universal Wrestling Federation. Jim Ross, along with Vice President of Mid-South Sports and UWF, Ken Mantell. And Ken, I'll tell you, you've been one of the busiest men in pro wrestling in the last few weeks with the Devastation Freebird situation, and now Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and his hijinks. Well, I know you got some strong thoughts about this.
You know, Jim, I do, and it seems like that everyone has gone crazy. You know about the situation with Gary Young and Chavo Guerrero. You know the situation with Iceman. He's gone off the deep end. The situation with the Freebirds and Devastation is real dangerous, Jim. You take this as two of the meanest, most devious organizations in pro wrestling today, and they're at each other's throats. The Freebirds have come in repeatedly, demanded a match, a bad street match, any kind of a match. They literally put their $1 million contract on the table and said, get us that match or else. What's going to happen, I don't know.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. A couple of 3 weeks ago, I thought you had him. With Sting, they kind of went out the back door on that one. Last week right here, I thought, well, he's got his last chance.
You know, Jim, in my position, I'm supposed to be impartial, but let me say this. Eddie Gilbert is a weasel, and he weaseled out. I thought I had him here just a few weeks ago when we said he'd have to meet Sting. He weaseled out of that. We put him in against a one-man gang. I thought then for sure he'd get what was coming to him. He weaseled out of that. He and that Iceman are getting in a position where they're going to get what's coming to them sooner or later.
And he is signed to defend the television title against Sam Houston right here. Ken Mantell's going to stay with us. Don't you go away. And now let's go up to Bruce Pritchard.
This event, ladies and gentlemen, one fall with TV time remaining for the UWF television title. Introducing in the ring, weighing in at 230 pounds, from every girl's dream, the UWF heavyweight champion, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Well, with the Hot Stuff leaning on Bruce's shoulder, he is the television champion and not the heavyweight champion. He'd like to have that, Ken.
He sure would.
Isn't it miraculous how rapidly his arm recovered?
It sure is. You know, Jim, we had our doctors look at him, and we insisted that he defend that belt today on television.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be telling you about the UWF Training Center. Get your pencil and paper handy for that. And when you write the training center, be sure that you put your return address on there. Some of the people I understand are so enthusiastic about getting involved in wrestling, they're forgetting to put the return address on their envelope. So please do that so we can contact you.
Absolutely, Jim. And boy, you talk about a popular young man. Now, here's one that's really captured the hearts of all the fans around the world today, and that's Sam Houston.
He's a two-stepping rascal.
And his opponent, weighing in at 220 pounds, from Waco, Texas, Sam Houston!
Sam Houston, a man who 2 weeks ago pinned Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert right here on the Universal Wrestling Federation program in a very impromptu match. It was not sanctioned for the title, but he did pin him, Ken, right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and that's why he's here tonight.
It sure is. He deserves a shot at that title, and he's getting it. But you know, Jim, I find something very strange. Hot Stuff doesn't have any of his people with him.
No, and I know Missy, you always notice when Missy's not there. And of course, that situation, Eddie Gilbert and Missy, her giving him power of attorney for their corporation. Now it's Hot Stuff International, and so maybe he's going to come out and earn his wings and be a man, one-on-one. Let's hope so. Boy, the action is fast here at the UWF.
Nice move in, a roll up. 1, 2.
Gilbert powers out, and Sam Houston already back on his feet, poised for battle. Also want to remind the fans, if you'd like to subscribe to the official magazine of the UWF, All Pro Wrestling, you can call 24 hours a day at area code 214-888-3232. And this address is very important. Post Office Box UWF, Dallas, Texas, 75379-6488. That's 214-888-3232. It's a great magazine about the UWF. A lot of color pictures, a lot of interesting articles. And I think you'll really enjoy it. I enjoy reading it every month.
I do too, Jim, and it's sure a way to keep up with all the action. A nice move there, a nice leg trip, but a reversal into a hammerlock and another reversal.
The UWF this Sunday afternoon in Lubbock, Texas. Can't wait for that one. A big card in Lubbock, in West Texas. Great move by Sam Houston. Also, this Monday night, Chavo Guerrero will headline a tremendous card. Sam Houston is #1. Well, he will be the #1 contender if he can defeat Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert for the television title here. But Chavo's going to be in his hometown of El Paso Monday night. Big homecoming celebration there for Chavo. We hope the fans will be with us this Monday night in El Paso for a spectacular card. And this Tuesday night in the spectacular Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I said it last week, Ken, is one of my favorite cities.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful spot. Sam Houston's going to work on that arm there. Eddie Gilbert coming up with that knee into the midsection. Oh, another big knee.
Gilbert used the ropes to get a little bit more momentum. Remember, this match is one fall or television time remaining for the UWF Television Championship. Sam Houston, I'll tell you, he's becoming a tremendous strategist. Look at Gilbert's face.
Both of them in shape athletes, Jim. As you noticed right there in that shot, not an ounce of fat on them. They train every day. You're going to see a lot of action, a lot of good wrestling in this match.
And you're going to see that the fans that are getting involved with UWF are seeing that night after night. Some of the most intense competition in professional wrestling today. The hardest hitting, the greatest matches, the stars of the UWF are beyond compare. And I'm very biased, but that's just the way I believe.
Well, I think you're sure right, Jim. And you know, speaking of intense and action, what about that film clip you showed just a little earlier about the girls' situation?
Well, there's going to be, that was a terrible thing. You know, her face is, I understand, is really, you know, I don't even want to, I'd even qualify the darn thing. It just was uncalled for. But Nicola is a big girl.
She's a big, tough girl, and don't you count her down.
Oh, no. I'll guarantee you. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert would like to count down Sam Houston here. And Gilbert, who waited just a little long, sometimes arrogance really has a play and the strategy in these matches, and it can work for you and it can work against you. And in that time, in my opinion, it worked against Hot Stuff, the TV champ.
It sure did, Jim. And you know how I feel about Hot Stuff. We've tried now for several weeks to put him in his place. I'm cheering for Sam, although we need to be biased up here. I think it's going to be a great match, but he's working on that arm. He's wearing it down, working on that one body part. Wear it down, and weaken your opponent and try to get the pinfall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more of this exciting television championship match after this exciting announcement from the Universal Wrestling Federation. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Ross and Ken Mantell from the Monroe Civic Center, Monroe, Louisiana. This match for the television championship. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert has thrown Sam Houston from the ring. The fans encouraging Sam to get back in and compete. Gilbert has something to say about that, Ken.
Yes, he does. A real stiff kick right there into the chest and face area of Sam Houston, who's out on the floor, needs to get back into the ring, needs to watch the count. But Eddie Gilbert, the veteran that he is, knows keep him there, keep him down, keep him confused.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert having some confrontation with referee Edward Falk. Admire his integrity, standing up to Hot Stuff. And Gilbert, who doesn't want Sam Houston back in the ring, and Houston, who is getting a lot of encouragement, has since this match started from this great crowd. He needs to get it back together and get back on the offense.
He sure does. There's no doubt who's the favorite in this match is. Oh, nice move. There he is.
All the way over, Houston and Gilbert. At a wide base, Houston couldn't get him over, and then Gilbert nailed Houston with that right hand, and Houston trying to get back to his feet. He has made it, but he is in trouble here, Kenny.
Yes, he is.
Oh! Both men with a clothesline.
Boy, this could be it, Jim. This could be the test of who wants it the most. The man that they're both down, the man that can get up, the man that can find it within himself to pull it all together and get up and wants it the worst may win it right here.
And you're hearing that from a man that defeated the legendary Danny Hodge for the Junior Heavyweight Championship of the world, so he knows what he's talking about. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, that was a superb offensive maneuver.
Back and forth, back and forth. Really, Jim, the momentum is about even here. I can't say that either man has an advantage at this point. Again, I think it's the man that wants it the worst is going to get up and take this battle, going to take control of this fight and come out the victor.
Television championship on the line here. The number one contender spot hangs in the balance.
That's right, automatic number one. Oh, a nice move by Sam Houston. Stepped right in, face locked. He went right into that reverse neck breaker. Beautiful move.
Houston now trying to get to Gilbert for the cover. But both men, they pounded and pounded on each other. This is a great matchup here on the UWF. This is typical UWF wrestling.
Nice block, nice block. You see that block, Jim? Look, watch Sam. Nice move. There he got him.
Houston with a suplex. It's typical UWF, but very unique as far as pro wrestling is concerned. This is intensity. And Gilbert fighting back. I think he knows his title is in deep jeopardy here.
It's beginning to swing. The momentum is swinging. Sam Houston is up on his feet. It looks to me like he wants it the most.
Houston throwing Gilbert in high elevation. Hot Stuff's in trouble right here. And Gilbert just nailed the referee. And Houston hit him with a bulldog. But Gilbert just hit the referee intentionally. Houston,
He's got him. He's got him.
He has got him pinned. But Gilbert hit the referee right in the face prior to that maneuver.
Has he won it? He's won it, Jim.
Houston has won the match. Man, this place is erupting.
No.
He was disqualified. Exactly what happened.
He sure was, Jim. The referee, it's an unpopular decision, but the referee stood by his guns. Eddie hit him, and we know it was intentional. The referee had no other choice.
He had no other choice. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice. If you want to become a professional wrestler, the choice is to get involved in the UWF Training Center. Be sure that you send your return address and listen very closely to the next 60 seconds.
The universe.
Look fast, because the hands on this watch are about to disappear. Now, look again. And they're back. Why do these hands disappear? Because they're not really hands at all. They're actually electronic pulses of light. Introducing the amazing laser beam wristwatch. Destined to become a legend in its own time, we believe it will soon be one of the most sought-after watches in history. However, as part of a special publicity campaign, we will send you one of these amazing new laser beam luxury watches. Not for the hundreds of dollars you might expect, but for only $10. But to get your amazing laser beam wristwatch for only $10, you must act now. If you call within the next 30 minutes, you can order a second laser beam watch for only $5, just half price.
To order, call 1-800-468-2600. That's 1-800-468-2600.
The war that the entire wrestling world is talking about has got to be the war between Devastation Incorporated and the Fabulous Freebirds. And one man who is very much involved in that war is the Godfather himself, Skandor Akbar.
I exposed you for what you are, Michael. You're a fraud. You talk about this and you talk about what a great negotiator, what a great leader that you are, and you filthy brothers, but I told them and I did it into you, Michael. I told everybody what was going to happen, Michael. You're on the outside looking in. You talk about bad street. There's no bad street. It's closed due to repairs because I went down to your house, Michael, you, Buddy, and Terry, and I kicked the doors in. I took the one-man gang and Wild Bill Irwin, and now Angel Mohammed, my latest and greatest acquisition. I made a man out of him. He's no longer American. This country offered him nothing, but I took him and I made him a true man. He's not a hippie like you, Michael. So here is a direct challenge to the Freebirds. Any kind of a match, including bad street rules, that you want to have. If you want 6-man, if you want one-on-one, if you want 4-man, that's just fine with me, Michael. But there's one thing you better remember. When Devastation does a job on somebody, it's for always, Michael. I told you what was going to happen, Michael. I'm going to send you down. I'm going to take you. I'm going to put a choker chain around your dirty neck, Michael. And I'm going to walk you out of the UWF. Because nobody is as great as the General and the Godfather. And you remember it, Michael. You and those half-wit brothers of yours, you're gonna get it, and you're gonna get it good. Any type of match you want, anywheres, anytime. You just remember that Devastation and Akbar is number one.
This event, ladies and gentlemen, one fall or TV time remaining. Introducing first in the ring from Devastation Incorporated, weighing in at 322 pounds, General Skandor Akbar presents Angel Mohammed.
Well, he's not going to win any beauty contest, but that's not what he earns the big bread for, Ken. He earns the money for beating people up and he gets it done. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about out of airtime here. It's been a long program. We've had a lot of exciting matches. I wish you could be here with us. Hopefully you can be with us for one of the great live UWF events.
A great night, a great time here in Monroe, Louisiana, Jim. But I'm curious about Chris Adams. Is Chris Adams going to come out here and face Akbar and all his army with Eddie Gilbert and his people? No. By golly, Terry Taylor's with him. Good.
There's a tremendous crowd, and they're just mobbing these guys as we are rapidly running out of time. The fans here in Monroe are going to see some great action. Later on tonight, we hope that you'll be with us for another exciting hour of UWF action here next week. Join us for our national television tapings.
And his opponent, weighing in 237 pounds from England, the gentleman, Chris Adams. In Chris Adams' corner, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Taylor.
Once again, my thanks to Ken Mantell. And ladies and gentlemen, for our whole crew, I'm Jim Ross. We're rapidly out of time. We'll see you next week, right here on the exciting Universal Wrestling Federation.